Okay, should we get started?
I mean, why not? Then let's do it.
I mean, you know, we're here. Esteemed guests arrived. Thank you, you've arrived. Thank you. Okay, so, welcome to my show.
Thank you. Thank you so
Welcome
much.
to Sex Ed Before Bed. This podcast is all about like having meaningful conversations about like topics that I think often go undiscussed. And I think that for me, like my dream was to kind of bring these conversations to the fore and have more of them. Because really, like, who here feels like they got a good sex education?
Absolutely not. I would say probably not. So because I don't remember any of it. So.
Yeah, I think very few people can say that they do, but it's such a personal thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so this show is circa 2017.
Whoa.
Yeah, like way back.
In the before times, as people say.
In the before times.
Yeah.
And so guests have included researchers, educators, psychotherapists, physicians, program facilitators, and now community organizers
Hello.
and community leaders.
Hey,
That's you.
that's us. That's us.
Yes, and so I'm like thrilled to have you here today. And for me, the podcast did go dormant during COVID, but I think we're here to launch the revival.
Wonderful.
So,
Love a
yes.
relaunch.
Yeah, exactly. And so, for me, like I came out in 2023.
What? Congratulations.
I know. Like it was a really, like not a late bloomer, whatever you want to call it.
Pretty, yeah.
I would say it's pretty recent.
You know.
And the reason that I wanted to do this is because the queer community was such a salve for me. And like, I just feel like one of the things I was thinking about as I was getting ready for this is, how do I define community? And it's like, it's a feeling when you walk into a room that you're afraid to walk into and they catch you.
Yeah. Oh, wow. It's beautiful.
And I just felt like, yeah, the queer community has had my back and it has meant a lot to me. And that's why I'm so excited to talk to you both today.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's get into it here. We're going to be chatting for, I don't know, as long as we want to.
Yeah, sounds great.
And
that's my favorite amount of time.
Yeah. This podcast is going to be coming out like once a month. That's my goal. It's on Spotify. It is on Apple Podcasts. It's on Listen Notes. It's on iHeartRadio.
Well, let's go.
It really just goes
everywhere.
It's just everywhere you can imagine.
Right.
So yes, last thing I'll say about myself, and then I want to turn it over to you, is that I was a certified sexual health educator. It's long since lapsed. But at the time I was. I don't want to pretend that I still am.
Yeah.
And so like my thing is that I'm not the expert. I want to be a conduit, acknowledging that I'm still learning about like myself, about my own identity, and a shitload of things about sex. And so I see myself as a conduit, and I hope the listeners are along for the ride.
I love that. I love that too.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. Yeah. Happy to be here.
Let's talk about our guest, shall we? So my first guest is Aislin, she, her. Aislin McDonald is an avid runner who's been part of the Toronto running community for 3.5 years. In 2024, she joined the Queer Run Club as an attendee and felt an immediate connection to the community. She quickly became an organizer and now leads QRC along MK, they, them, every Saturday morning. By day, Aislin works as an architect here in the city, building and informing of these beautiful structures that surround us. And so the running community feels her life with joy, and she believes in the power of uplifting runners, and is delighted to share her passion as a leader in the queer community and welcome new faces at QRC.
Beautiful.
Woo!
Thank you, Rebecca. Thank you so much.
Yes, absolutely. We're so happy to have you here. Stella, she, producer, performer, creator, and movement teacher. They have produced 3 years of sold-out Toronto Fringe productions. Stella produced, choreographed, and performed in the Shakespeare adaptation, Il Met by Moonlight. Woo! Saint Stella is an award-winning burlesque performer, performed twice at the Burlesque Hall of Fame.
Wow.
and was the recipient of an Emerging Queer Artist Award from Buddies in Bad Times in 2020 and a Community-One Rainbow Grant in 2024.
Woo!
Welcome to the show, Stella.
Thank you. So excited to talk about some of my favorite things and favorite people.
Absolutely.
Beautiful.
Well, cheers.
Oh, cheers.
Cheers.
So many cheers.
Cheers.
Hello, everybody. We see a little...
Hello.
I'm
see you.
waving from here. We can't really see your comments, but please drop them and we'll come and look after.
no
if you have
audio on
questions
this
or
one.
anything.
Yes, thanks everyone for your patience with
no.
the tech issues. Hello to everyone. Very nice to meet you all for those of you that have met me before and those of you that haven't met me. So Queer Run Club, usually I'm quite loud, so if you can't hear me, please give me a shout because that'll be an unpredictable situation. And thanks for everyone's patience as we're figuring out live stream on 3 devices at the same time.
This is so
we got a
great.
thumbs up. Okay, someone's good.
Oh my gosh, 10 people are
Beautiful.
watching us. This is
Yeah,
amazing.
I love you 10 people on the same time.
It's like, oh my god.
You're my favorite 10 people as of today, just so you know.
We're taking roll call. We're doing roll call, by the way, so at the end, everyone who attends is going to be getting some sort of, maybe a prize. I don't know. We'll see.
A special shimmy, a special high kick from me. Okay. You know who you are.
Aislin, Stella.
Yes.
When you hear queer community, what comes to mind for you?
Okay, well, that's a wonderful question. Well, when I hear queer community, I hear something beautiful that exists in Toronto today in an incredible way that I don't think existed before, even in other cities I've lived in. And in Toronto, the queer community just seems very explosive with all the queer activities that are happening today, but I see progress.
Really? Okay, we're gonna come back to that.
Yeah. If it's okay, I'm gonna read a couple thoughts that I wrote earlier just to make sure. I really want to, there was some really big ideas I wanted to make sure I said. So queer community is about creating the safety, comfort, and joy we couldn't find elsewhere. It's the late nights for me after shows, helping each other out of costume, sharing makeup tips, holding space for each other's struggles and triumphs, and not feeling like the weird or the wrong one, or better yet, that the weird or the wrong is in fact beautiful.
Yes. Oh, that's beautiful. I love that. That's wonderful.
Yeah, something who's always felt sort of out of place in almost any given community, just a little bit weird. Like too loud for the nerds, too fat for the dancers, too whatever for whatever. As soon as I started hanging around queer artists, I wasn't too anything, and that felt so nice and safe. You know?
Right. You didn't feel like you had to monitor yourself and watch yourself so much. It's a hard, that feeling is kind of interesting to try to describe.
Yeah, it's definitely really intangible, and I think can be scary. As I think a lot of queer people feel that way, is that they're not quite part of any existing community. I do think for people younger than us, that's changing a lot. I see people who are in their teens or in their 20s who are these beautiful queer folk who are so rainbow in so many ways in their variety, and I think that I don't know your age. I know your age a little bit. We've been around a minute, so I think that we might have had a different experience, and also I feel like in a lot of ways we're so lucky, like you said, to be in Toronto. We are so privileged to be in one of the safest places in the world to be an out queer person.
I fully agree with that.
And that is massive. And in so many places in the world that's actually getting worse, and that's terrifying. So we should know how lucky we are to be femmes, women, queer people. All of these identifiers can be so dangerous in so many other places in the world. And not we're entirely safe, but we're so privileged in where we're sitting in the world. I think that's something to really consider as well.
Oh, I completely agree with that. And although no city is perfect, and there's no perfectly safe, any place in the world really, but I would say out of the 6 or 7 cities I've lived in, I've felt the safest as a queer person in Toronto. And I've been in the most spaces, and the most queer spaces where I felt very safe and at home. And I hope that other people are able to find that feeling as well. I know that it can take some time to find that feeling, and I know it took me some time actually to find my queer community in Toronto. And so we hope by sharing today a bit about our own experiences and a bit about our queer communities that hopefully others can also find community.
Yeah, I think it's interesting too, maybe we'll touch on this a bit, that like, although queer community very much feels like a safe space, there are still cliques and there are still things that you wish, for me anyway, like, I don't know, I'm not mask enough. Am I too femme? Am I too this? Am I too that? Do I fit the descriptors of what a queer person is supposed to be? And I think there are those things too. But overall, I'd rather be in a room full of queer people than not.
Yes, it's true. It's true. And it's really interesting because I think in our lives and in our communities as queer people, or even like as other identities that we have, it's so important, I think, for mental health is to be able to find your people and to be able to find your community, whether that be your queer community or whether that be from another interest group. But I think that being queer is a beautiful thing to have in common with the group, and there's a lot of shared experience and chosen family there.
Yeah, absolutely. There's so many things that I want to touch on. I remember that like one of the first queer events I went to was this like speed dating thing in February. And I remember that after a bunch of us went for drinks and sharing my story with a few folks afterwards, and them just being like, "Oh, like honey, you're so gay," and how validating that was for people from the community to say like, "We see you," and like, yes, like it's clear, like it's so clear that you belong here. And like that was really meaningful. And I had a conversation with a friend of mine about signals that we use in perhaps like our gender expression to like try to like show that we are queer, like whether it's like a carabiner or whether it's like for me my hair or piercings or whatever it might be, or like
a million rings
exactly.
Flannel.
And how like at least that feels like an alignment. For me, for sure, the hair definitely felt like an alignment. Like it felt so right, you know.
It's interesting though, because like you do, I said that actually with a group of our friends the other day. I forget who I said it to specifically, but I was like, "Oh, I know I don't come across as queer," and like 4 people were like, "Yeah, you do." And I was like, and I honestly think there is signifiers too, and that can be a good thing and a bad thing, because same, I cut my hair in the past year or so. I used to have really long hair, and now I'm perceived as queer way more, just because I have short hair, which to me I think is good or bad, right? Why are we excluding people because of these signifiers? That's not a good thing. But to be able to also, particularly in places where it might be less safe, to have subtle signifiers is actually, that's what, you know, the queer community used to do back, you know, in the 100 years ago with the do-rags and stuff, right? Signifying their queerness, like queer women would wear pocket watches, different things like that, that were subtle queer signifiers, and that a lot of people still have to do in the world where they're not as lucky as us, where we can roll around on Pride Day with like, I don't know, rainbows and rainbows, you know?
Yeah, it's true.
The pocket watch is super sly.
That is super sly. Wow. And even with queer signifiers, it's so interesting, like when you're in a queer space, not only maybe having or wearing queer signifiers, but also just knowing the way that you look and the way that you present yourself, whether or not you have signifiers, is wonderful exactly as you are. And of course, I feel like some of the queer spaces I've been to, like Queer Run Club, honestly, some of the most stylish people I've ever met. So I probably
running?
Yeah, running, while running, and the people that show up for coffee after, it's really incredible. And so I think that I've probably picked up on a couple of queer signifiers just throughout my time in the community, especially since joining Queer Run Club, but also the notion that come as you are and you are included. That's hope. That is what we strive for in Queer Run Club, and we hope our community members share that experience with us. It seems like you certainly do, and that's kind of one of the things that I look at when I see a queer space, is if I feel really comfortable as I am with that.
That's huge. One of the things that I remember going to a queer Mingle event and meeting folks from Georgetown, Hamilton, you know, that folks are coming long distances
Yeah.
for these events, and I think they're hungry for those events. And it struck me because I thought, there was a bit of an exodus from the city during COVID.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
I kind of hoped,
Yeah.
or what I would have hoped is that there'd be subsets of the community that would develop in pockets like Hamilton or Kitchener, Waterloo. But it still seems like they're still coming to the city.
Yeah.
And maybe it's just because there's more folks and there's more events and all that stuff too. But I was like, this is the fact that someone took 2 hours to take a bus from Georgetown to come to this queer mingle event. It's like, it means so much that like these places exist.
Oh, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. And I remember kind of at the tail end of some of the final lockdowns during the pandemic, I'm sure you remember this as well, Stella, it was just this beautiful proliferation of new queer clubs starting and queer-based groups starting in Toronto. I would just be on my Instagram and I would see different clubs popping up. And I guess let's say if you see someone starting something or starting a community, people who might be more inclined to start their own, and of course with our population base in Toronto, it makes sense. But it's really beautiful that people would travel for so far to come to find their community.
For sure. For both of you, how has being an organizer changed things for you? Maybe your perception of things, or even your own journey.
I mean, for me, I think, I made some notes too. Okay, so one of the first things I felt really proud of was my first Fringe show, and that was in 2017. And we did Liz Estrada, and it was right after Trump got elected for the first time. Sorry, I threw a balloon in my mouth. And the majority of the cast were like women, queer women, or a bunch of queer people. And it felt so empowering to feel like, I don't know, for me, kind of almost like, oh, how dare I think I can do this? But then to have that click and be like, wait, why not me? Why not me? And if not me, then who?
Right.
And I think that everybody should think that. If you have an idea that can empower other people, if you have some way to bring people together, just ask, just try. And don't be afraid of a no, because you will get no's. You will get a lot of people be like, no, I don't have the time, no, I don't have the money, no, I don't have the whatever, I'm not interested. But if people say yes, it's because they also needed that space. So to do that and to have those people continually buy in to what you're doing and want to work with you, create with you, run with you, work out with you, meet up with you, they need that too. Mm-hmm. So if you need the space, try and create it. And if it works, it's because the other people need that space too. So I really think that every time I make one of these shows, I'm just like, oh, is anybody gonna want to risk their time and effort with me? Oh no. And then when they do, it's kind of like, yeah, because they need this outlet too. They need the people, they need the art, they need the whatever it may be, the air outside, the working through of their body, whatever it is you offer. So I think that for me, it's just try the thing, be ready for a no, and be so proud for even if you get 3 yeses. If you say, hey, my gay friends, let's go for a walk.
Yes.
If they say yes, it's because they needed that space too. So you should be so proud that you just were the spark,
It's really beautiful.
Thanks, Stella. So profound.
Our showstopper. Such a showstopper. It's amazing. So it's my first time meeting Stella tonight, and it's been an absolute blast so far. It's great. What a showstopper. So wow, following that's amazing. So a little bit of background on me. I'm very lucky. So I, as Rebecca said, I've been in the running community for the last 3.5, almost 4 years. And Queer Run Club had been on my radar for a very long time, but I just hadn't had the chance to attend the club for whatever reason. I was very busy in 2023, running a few marathons.
Let's get back to that.
I read the newspaper, I ran a couple marathons.
Some people in this queer space might be familiar with the term U-hauling.
Yeah.
U-hauling is a beautiful term. Signifiers. It's kind of when you join together with something or someone, and just kind of, move in right away. And that is how I felt.
We're keeping them in business.
Yeah.
Keeping them in business.
I think that
yes.
we should get dividends.
Yes, so that's how I felt about running when I got back into running a few years ago. I just got into it in a big way. I was training and starting to found some running community, and I ran 3 marathons in like a year and a half.
Oh,
and
wow.
it was just, I don't know if I ever sat down really.
I bet.
I don't know if I ever sat down. And I really enjoyed that time. And I thought,
I'm picturing you running out of a U-Haul into the marathon.
Actually, it's like a Flintstone car.
Yeah.
And I've got the U-Haul truck, but I'm just running. And that's what we're doing. And it's just, I really enjoyed that. But then I just felt like I was so busy that I really didn't have time for queer community. And it was the missing piece from my life. I think it was my New Year's resolution years ago. And I didn't do anything about it because I was, running a marathon. Or 2 or 3.
Oh my God.
And then so what happened was I had a friend last year ask me, hey Aislin, do you want to go to Queer Run Club sometime? I thought, yeah, I'd love to. I wanted to go for so long, but I've just, with all this running, I don't know. I want to do more running. I just don't want to. It's really getting in the way. I just don't want to run 42K. But yeah, I'll run 5. That sounds great. So I'll run 5. So it's beautiful. So we went to Queer Run Club, and so for context, Queer Run Club, we meet every Saturday morning at Ethica Coffee Roasters, which is at 213 Sterling Road.
Fabulous.
Meet at 9:20 and start running or walking at 9:30, and we come back for coffee at 10. And so I went to the group, and it was love at first sight.
Aww.
I just thought, this is the missing piece. This is the piece that's been missing in my life for so long. And MK, who's our wonderful founder of the group, ran the group on their own for 3 years. And they are such a wonderful person. We hit it off as friends just immediately and thought, wow, what an incredible human being. And I went up to them, I said, I love this group so much. I'm U-hauling this group. I just U-haul things. And then soon after, MK was very happy and saw my potential and asked me to run the group. And I've been rambling about that story for a little bit. So I had the privilege of coming into a very well-established community as an organizer. So it really made me think, what can I add to this community? It's very well established. So it was wonderful that MK had seen my potential, but also, someone's calling.
Oh, perfect.
Oh,
thank you. My
I
brother.
heard a call from a family member.
Thank you so much.
please enter the podcast.
My family does.
The family cares.
I have no
Family
idea
calls
how
and
many.
family cares.
That's
That's hilarious. So we'll just keep going, but
Let's keep going.
it really made me think a lot about my own queer identity, queer community in general. What can I bring to this community? Why do I love this community? The community is centering female, trans, and non-binary runners and walkers, or anyone who wants to attend coffee. We also have lots of wonderful cisgendered men in the group as well, who are some of the pillars in our community. And it just really felt like a space that we needed in the queer scene, the queer athletic scene. And so I think that was like a 5-minute answer, but
Perfect.
that may have answered some of it.
I love it.
Thanks for sticking with us.
I love it.
I really think it's important in queer community to also remind ourselves, and it really sounds like you're doing this. It's not like being a leader is important. Being a leader means you're lifting up other people, I think, and you're creating space for other people to join in, and you're encouraging other people to join in. And those are, I think, we all can agree that are the people we look up to are the people who call people in,
Yes,
Yes.
true,
And
absolutely.
I think that's to me, the leaders, the pillars of the community are always the people who are inviting other people in. And they're not taking over, they're not whatever,
No.
but they're always the people who are bringing people in
Yes.
and sharing community.
Yes.
And more is more. Community is not a pie. There's enough for everybody, you know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's the kind of leadership where you're there to kind of serve others.
Yeah.
In a way, and lift them up and
If only politicians would think that. Sorry, no politics today, right?
No, I mean, I thought we might get into it,
Yeah.
but I think that Aislin, first of all, when you were talking about it, I just noticed your face changed and there was a softness, and I saw this reflection where that eureka or aha moment where you walked in the door. That's what I'm picturing. Is
That's
that
beautiful.
moment, where you realize this is the missing piece.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
one of the things that I was thinking, because you were talking about centering the experience of trans folks and non-binary folks, and I did want to talk about kind of like what we as a community could be doing better. And I think that it would be Pollyanna to say that like the community is united in some ways, but perhaps like could be more united in how we show up for each other. How does that sit with you? Welcome your thoughts on that.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's like, again, it's about calling people in, and it's about also like admitting when maybe you, in your mind, you're creating this perfectly safe space, but you're not actively inviting people who are unlike you. So yeah, I'm always like queer women, queer this, queer that. But then it's like, okay, but am I actively calling in people of color, trans people, people in groups that I don't necessarily like identify as? I have to make sure that I'm going out of my way to make sure that those people are involved, because that's not my personal experience, right? So that's not going to be the easiest thing to do, and it's not supposed to be easy. And I think that's really important for queer people to remember, is that like it's continually a fight. It shouldn't be easy. We should keep working to do better. We should never rest on our laurels and be like, look what I did. I'm done. I'm complete in my queer community building. It's always like trying to do better, and hopefully like listening when you fucked up. Hopefully like, you know, doing better tomorrow than you've done today. Like, and knowing, again, realizing the privilege where we live, realizing not everybody has, even like us, like look at us, we're just like talking on the internet about how gay we are.
It's pretty cool.
What a privilege, right? So many people don't have that privilege. So to realize, okay, let's be careful with people who come to my like queer event. Can we broadcast that? Not everyone's safe being broadcast as queer. Not everyone's safe interacting as queer. Maybe they're there stealthily. Who knows? And really just like trying to not center your own experience, even though like we're all humans and we're going to do that. I think really like making sure, asking questions. I try really hard to ask so many questions before I touch somebody, before I get in their space, before I assume their pronouns, before I assume they're comfortable with whatever. Especially in burlesque, it's a very intimate zone a lot of the time. So I try really hard in every case to make sure that people are comfortable with touch, with this, with that. You know, I think we just have to keep asking and keep doing better and never rest on, cool, I've done my part.
True. Wow.
Wise words.
Very wise words.
Okay.
As you know, Stella, you're just so, I love it. Highly quotable human being over here. I think it's beautiful. Very, very inspiring. And it really makes me think all of those points, absolutely wonderful. And just even recognizing how much bravery it takes just to show up to any queer space. Just to show up to any queer space. I think it takes a lot of bravery. And I think there's a lot that needs to, you know, a level of privilege. One, a level of privilege to be able to show up publicly as a queer person. I think that's phenomenal, and I want to validate everybody's experiences, and I'm sure, and all of us at some point have felt a little bit, oh my gosh, I'm going to go to this group for the first time. Like, this is a big deal. And it's not only you're acknowledging the queerness in yourself, but also acknowledging, okay, I'm okay to share this in a public setting, and I don't know what's going to happen. And I think that's beautiful. And you know, I agree with what you're saying, the fact that we're going live online, talking about our queer identities, that says a lot. That says a lot. And I think that remembering that experience that you had, even in your own way, and recognizing that other people will be having a similar experience, or even a different experience, or who knows, maybe things could be even more challenging for them in whichever way. And so I totally agree with that. And just, I always like to keep that in the back of my mind when I'm at Run Club. And I'm so lucky to be working with MK and myself. We talk very regularly just about the running community in general and our own community at QRC. So yeah, just really recognizing that, try to stay humble and inviting others in. And also, I'm sure, like asking people for feedback as well. Even asking people for feedback. And I also think that representation matters. And so representing, like, you know, I'm so lucky to have joined a community that has a very significant following in the queer community, and making sure that we celebrate and represent the people that we are striving to serve, which is the queer community. And also centering, you know, people of color, centering non-binary runners and walkers, centering trans runners and walkers, centering women. It just, it's really wonderful to have that space.
Yeah, amazing. One of the things that I wanted to, can I get a time check?
Oh yeah, absolutely. 7:52.
Oh my god.
I know, time's flying.
Yeah, my phone said there's time for a break. Not now. Not now. I was gonna say we should chat a little bit and look for check the comments.
Check the comments. Yeah, we can check the comments.
Should we check the comments?
I like to do the comments.
Oh,
I didn't have someone.
Yeah, cool. Do you want to get out?
Yeah, go get out.
We're just doing a quick little
Yeah,
check, everybody.
If anybody has any comments
Thanks
or
all for
questions,
watching.
now's the time.
Now's the time.
Yes,
oh,
yes.
I love all sorts of. Okay, I just want to say hi to everyone.
How do
one
I
by
know
one
how
who's
many people
joined.
are on the?
You know what? I've got so many people hopping on
here.
and off here. I don't see the comments.
Oh my goodness! Look
But
at the waving.
We've got all sorts of people coming in and out.
Oh, they just come
so
in
we
and
just
out.
kind of come in.
Oh, and
That's nice. Love it.
Oh,
We'll
love it.
see. Coming out is all part of it. So.
Hey.
But yeah, quick comment, chat.
Hi,
Let's see
everyone.
if there's- if you want anything answered, please
Yes.
say hello. We see lots of people waving, which is great.
Oh.
But yeah, in terms of queer community, amazing.
Oh, yes.
Stella, and great questions, Rebecca.
Oh.
Honestly.
Well, thank you. One of the things that I wanted to get into was I had two thoughts. Okay, one was a quote that I swear that I had it written down, and it was so good. It was from one of my mentors, and it was related to what. Let me see. Well, she's long gone. But so one of my mentors, Barbara Finley, who's the guest on the next episode.
Oh, great. Wow.
Is a lesbian lawyer who was actually like, and she's talked about this, was actually incarcerated. You know, I was put into like a mental health facility for her for being lesbian. And now is such a staunch advocate for trans rights and anti-racism. She's white, but she's done incredible work. If you look, Barbara Finley, amazing, will be the next guest. And one of the things she said, you know, I wondered if there was something wrong with me or something that was wrong with the world. And I decided there was something wrong with the world and I needed to fix it.
Wow, it's beautiful.
It's a lot to put on yourself, though.
Yeah, that's cute.
You know?
Yes. And like, yeah, because you're right. Like, it is extra labor to I think, like, do this work. But I think
Our community deserves that labor.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Totally.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I was thinking about, what does the community need right now in this exact moment? Because we are right at the beginning of like a second Trump term. I hate to say it. I know, I hate to say it, but I'm like, is the queer community part of the well that they can draw their strength from? And you know, what do we need from each other? I think right now.
Great question.
I made some notes about this question. Hopefully, look, I'm a nerd and I like to make notes. Okay, so I took this from a bit more of a performance sort of arts perspective, because that's where I'm coming from. And I noted that we really need sustainable funding and accessible spaces. We need to ensure that emerging queer artists can afford to create and to stay in Toronto. And we need to keep fighting for the spaces that prioritize marginalized voices within our community. So, I have this discussion with people a lot. We can only make art once our basic needs are met. And a lot of people have made this comment over time. There is the triangle of needs. If you are struggling to pay rent, to not know where your next meal is coming from, are you going to have time to run auditions, to write your play? I can tell you from experience, no, you're not.
Mm-hmm.
So I am making like what I think is going to be the best piece of art I've ever made in my life because I got a queer community grant.
Yeah, amazing.
To lessen some of those needs, and I am coming from an incredible place to be able to do that. But even things like that, I don't think that people realize outside of the community. I'm old. I've been doing this for like 20 years.
It's amazing.
I look great. But when I started 20 years ago, there were things like Exclaim and Now Magazine, and you could bring postcards around, and you could stick things to the poles outside, and people would come to your shows. None of those things exist anymore. And social media has no reach anymore. Mm-hmm. Also, even Facebook or whatever, I hate to say those words now, 10 years ago, you had reach. You could post things and they would share. Mm-hmm. Now, without money, like 50 people or something maybe see your post, and a bunch of those people are not even in your city or whatever. Mm-hmm. So, like, ways to get the word out, to create community is so hard because there is no practical ways to reach people anymore. We don't have tangible media anymore. Most of us can't afford to pay like hundreds of dollars for social media or whatever, or like a web designer or whatever it may be. So it's just so hard to create art unless you're in the system. And to get in the system, you usually come from the system or from money to begin with. Mm-hmm. So it's this elite cycle of who can sort of create art, unless you're lucky enough to like climb your way with these tiny micro grants or whatever it is. It's truly like creating art. Like, we make this joke all the time because you have to laugh, but we make tens of dollars doing burlesque. You know what I mean? Like, so, and same with any other like queer art, drag artists. Particularly want to shout out kings. People who are making art that isn't mainstream are doing like maybe like RuPaul style drag, other kinds of like genderfuck drag, kings, queer burlesque that is not like mainstream for like thin white people, thin white straight people. It's hard. That money doesn't come from nowhere. So to get on stage, you need costumes, you need an Uber to get there, probably to get home. It's not safe for a lot of queer people to just like go in makeup and stuff to the venue because you're going to get harassed on the street. You don't want to get on the TTC in your drag or in your face or whatever. So like, you are spending $200 or something to show up and do your act. And a lot of times you're not even getting paid that. So like, it truly is a labor of love. And I will say, if anybody from the Queer Run people want to come see some queer art, we would love you forever. A lot of our shows are, anywhere from $20 to $30 at the door. It's not a big investment, but it's a night of queer entertainment. So if you've never seen drag or burlesque in the city, particularly the queer stuff, at the end I think we're going to do some shoutouts.
Yes.
You should come check it out. But like, art is a privilege to make, and it costs money to make. And that's why a lot of times we see the same things made again and again, because art is like cyclical and money stays where money is. So it's so hard that's why it's such a big deal when something like outside of the mainstream gets made, because truly it's so hard to make art. It costs so much money. I don't even remember the question anymore, but that's my rant of the day.
Haven't set up this topic. Yes.
Wow.
Sorry, I ranted.
No, it's beautiful and very necessary. Stella, it's so interesting to hear about your perspective on art and the arts as a queer performer. And I would absolutely love to come to your show. We will definitely be sharing it through Queer Run Club. I think it's absolutely beautiful. And I think in terms of like a lot of the points you made, especially with just the practicalities in general with the arts and performance, and then the added layer of complication as queer people, I think it's very, absolutely.
Yeah. You could
support the arts.
Definitely, because I think that you're bringing these other layers of like policy about, I think we're talking about social policy, and we're talking about also perhaps corporate social responsibility. And it's like, okay, if the banks are going to slather their name all over Pride, what else are you doing? Like, what else have you done for us lately?
And who's getting hired for Pride lately? We will not get into it right now. But, even, like 10 years ago, like, there was a lot more variety and stuff at Pride, and things have really changed. I think they're being a lot more safe about the artists they hire and stuff, and and what the face that they put on Pride to be very safe, and like Pride should be a riot and should continue to be, but that's a different podcast.
Yeah, interesting. This is like such a good perspective as you've been part of the community for quite some time. It's just really interesting to hear. And when I looked at the question, I love how like our different angles on it. So I definitely thought about it from a much more, I guess, granular point of view. Of course, we see things through our own lenses. And so I thought about it like, okay, so what does this mean in terms of Queer Run Club? What does this mean in terms of queer community? I guess in more of like a daily interactions or like how I interact with other people in the world. So I'm loving the macro and the micro scale, which is great. And so some of the things I'm going to say are things you've heard a lot lately, but I would say just taking more time or just taking a second even throughout your day just to like check in with someone. Because I don't know, when was the last time, just like asking, it's like, hey, are you okay? Like, hey, how are you feeling? And like in a way that, approaching it from an angle of curiosity and maybe not necessarily, like I'm not trying to ask any intrusive questions about your life, just if you're willing to share, I just would like to know. I think just being able to do that a little more often, if you have capacity, and also just being aware of your own capacity, because right now, you're right, it's extremely politically intense and stressful time. And so we all need to recognize, and even for myself, that like, I might not have all of the capacity that I have normally when things ever hunky-dory, but when there isn't a politician in the US that is literally attacking LGBTQ plus rights on a daily basis. And so when you have capacity, just taking that time to just ask each other, hey, are you okay? Or even just like the events that are putting on, whether it be your burlesque performances or queer sporting events or any sort of thing like that, just like making sure that is there and that we are here, and also bringing positivity to people's lives. And so I would say, to echo what Stella said, the queer community and lifting each other up is more important now than it ever has been. And we can only hope to continue to strive for a better world.
Oh my God.
So, yeah.
The best guess. The best
how I could even
for. It's time for shoutouts. It's time we're going to do like shoutouts. So this is like a person or a community or an organization that you want to highlight and you want to give a shout out to. And I have one too.
Go for it.
Go for it.
Yeah. Okay, I got two quick ones. They're both burlesque scene related, because I think that's what I was invited here to talk about. First one that I always tell people, if you are coming in to experience the Toronto burlesque scene, please follow and go see Femme Fatale. The Femme Fatale are the women of color burlesque troupe. They are led by Dainty Smith, who is incredible and has been around on the scene for a long time with me. We're one of the old school go way back people. You cannot go wrong. Femme Fatale put on an incredible show. They're always these amazing curated show, primarily queer women of color, and they're usually at Buddies and Bad Times, which is sort of pillar of the queer community in Toronto. So right now, go and follow Femme Fatale, Women of Color Burlesque Troupe Toronto, and Dainty Smith while you're at it. And then real quick, secondarily, if you want to see burlesque that is happening in Toronto, please go to the Sugar Shack. One of my besties in the burlesque scene, Sugar Holiday, puts on a show more or less monthly, and it is one of the most sort of diverse. You show up and you never know what you're gonna get in that show, and it's so consistently kind of lovely and off the wall. And what are we gonna see this time? Queer folks, trans folks, drag, burlesque, people of all shapes and sizes, backgrounds, experiences. She always makes sure there's newbies. It's just, if you're what is this Toronto burlesque thing? I've never seen it. Go check out the Sugar Shack, because you'll see a little bit of everything on any given night. So you can follow Sugar Holiday Burlesque for that. There's one, I think, next weekend. And then I'll tell you about my stuff after.
Wasn't wonderful? And the hair flip, that was beautiful. And over to Aislin. That's great. Okay, amazing. I just learned a lot there. So wow. So my shout out, I have to say, this is just a wonderful, wonderful group. If you're looking to just meet other queer folks, or if you're looking to see what's happening in the queer community and maybe, you know, what sort of activities could I try in the queer community? Let's say you're new to the scene, or you kind of just want to know what's happening in Toronto. A group that does amazing meetups a few times a year is Queer Jock Night, and their Instagram handle, we all love them, is
So good.
queer. I think it's Queer Jocks TO, and Queer Jocks TO, wonderful group, all volunteer run, similar to Queer Run Club. They do bar nights a few times a year, and all of the queer sports club leaders that they can find in Toronto, so I can never say all of them, you never know. So many of the queer sports club leaders in Toronto show up to that night, and the point of the night is for you to just go around and basically you're kind of like, almost like at the university club fair, except it's for queer sports groups, and also I think they've expanded it recently, so other activities are there as well, maybe like sketching or other things that are outside of just athletic sports. And so you get to go there and you can chat with people who have similar interests and just see what's happening in the community, and that's always been wonderful. They have their next meetup on February the 20th, so that's next Thursday at the time of this recording. And they're meeting at the Dock Ellis, which is on Dundas Street West.
Nice.
I'll be there, so you'll have at least one familiar face and one friend there. So yeah, always a wonderful group. I like to promote.
It's a great night. I've been, and it's really fun to like. I'm following so many like queer sporty people now.
It's great. It's great. It's great. And they have every sort of sport. So I MK and myself show up on behalf of Queer Run Club. We've seen queer ice skating. We use queer ski club, so a couple of like winter themed activities.
Climbing.
Yes, rock climbing, soccer, hockey, pickleball, queer pickleball. Love that group. Incredible
Pickleball
group.
has exploded onto the scene.
Wild.
And there's
Stop it.
There's a queer version, so they're a wonderful group as well. I've also been to that group.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I was gonna highlight. Well, I was gonna do queer climb, but I would say queer art club is fun too. They do these art. It's an art crawl.
I just went to that on Sunday.
Did you really?
Wonderful. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, so you got my.
Okay, I gotta come to one of those. That's
Yes.
awesome. It's
Yeah,
really
yeah.
fun.
And I was gonna say also, I mean, queer mingle.
Yes.
Queer mingle does great events, and also queer $3 bill.
Just generally,
Wonderful space,
lots
yeah.
of great little burlesque shows there that are queer focused as well.
Yeah, yeah. And they just opened like a year and a half ago,
Yeah.
so
Yeah,
it's a good
killer.
time.
Yeah.
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 Great, you know? Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, can you believe that we're coming to the end of our time?
This was so lovely.
It's time flies when you're having
Yeah.
fun.
I know! So we'll go around and where can folks find you, Ashley?
Great question, Rebecca. So, if you're specifically looking to find me on a Saturday morning, to announce this publicly, so Queer Run Club, we meet every Saturday morning at 9:20 at Ethica Coffee Roasters, an incredible coffee shop,
At
which
a
is
reasonable time.
reasonable time, and it's in the Junction area. And Ethica Coffee Roasters is really close to the Museum of Contemporary Art, right next door. And I also want to plug that Queer Run Club. We welcome runners, walkers, and attendees of all abilities, all paces, all bodies, all genders. Everyone under the rainbow is more than welcome, and you do not have to be a runner. We run 5K, which is what I forgot to say, or walk, or you can do 3K, or you can do 4K.
Or just come for coffee.
Yes, or you can just come for
The
coffee.
first time I went was just for coffee.
And I think that's when we met.
Yes.
So we met.
And Ashton got me a croissant.
I don't even. Oh yeah, I bought you
You brought me a chocolate croissant.
You know.
You did.
That's how we make friends.
Yes.
It's through chocolate.
Yeah, it's like late sleeper friendly. If you want to just come at 10 a.m., you may also do that. And I was like shy. I was like, I didn't do the run. I walked in, I was like, I didn't do the run. I was like, hi everyone, I didn't do the run. And then just like, anyway.
So great. You know what? It's our pleasure. Our pleasure. And you know what? I think it was actually before I became an organizer. I just love people, and MK has just started this incredible community. MK is my other shout out, by the way. Thank you so much to MK, our wonderful leader who started Queer Run Club and has become a wonderful friend of mine. And I could say a million wonderful things about them. And yeah, and that's great. And I also wanted to mention you do not have to be a runner to join this club. I am always, and there's no signups, it's absolutely free. You can just show up as you are. And even if you just want to, come for coffee or check it out, just like.
Even in the winter?
Yeah. Oh, we go all year. You can walk, you can run, and
I'll see you in the spring.
So we're going to pencil Stella in for the first day of spring.
First nice day, I'll be there.
Beautiful. Can't wait.
I love it. Stella, where can people?
Okay, I'm going to rapid fire 3 things, but they'll be really fast, I promise. Okay, rapid fire number 1, torontoburlesque.ca. I run a website where you can go. Anybody in the community who does burlesque or burlesque-related events can send them to me, and I put them up there on a best effort basis. So you can bookmark that if you're ever like, what can I do this weekend? Let me see if there's any burlesque shows. It's just a calendar site of all the burlesque in the city. Rapid fire number 2 this weekend. I'm performing at a lovely little bar called The Witch on Saturday night.
WYCH.
It's
The Witch.
Davenport and Ossington, and I'm performing with 2 other queer performers, and it's a very intimate bar show, what we call a floor show. So basically it's this really cute little cocktail bar, and we literally just prance around you on the floor, and it's real cute. So
I have been.
Check it out.
I was dazzled. Dazzled. I'm always dazzled by Stella's shows because, listen, you have to go and see it to believe it.
It's only $20 this particular show too, so very affordable.
It will be.
And then very finally, please keep an eye. I got a queer community grant.
Woo!
Yeah. I'm using it to make an adaptation of Poe's Mask of the Red Death, where a bunch of performers are invited to a billionaire's sort of compound when the environmental collapse happens, and they decide billionaires should not exist.
Oh,
and
agreed.
The cabaret at the end of the world happens, and billionaires don't exist by the end of the play, let's put it that way. So that's happening in April at the Assembly Theatre, but more to come soon, but I'm very excited to make a play with a certain point of view.
Ooh, so follow Saint Stella.
So follow me, Saint Stella, saintstella.com.
Okay.
I will be shouting that out a lot starting next week.
Okay.
Incredible.
Congratulations on your grant, and I can't wait.
Yeah.
Having been in the crowd at Stella's shows that they put on, it's absolutely incredible. I went to the
Burlesque Carol,
which was a riff on the night before Christmas.
Christmas Carol.
I don't know what that, but I was really wowed. You can tell I need to do Christmas trivia, but it was super impressive, and I laughed my buns off. And so for me, you can follow me at bex.navs at Instagram, or follow the newly created Sex Ed Before Bed Instagram account for updates on the podcast. We're going to be recording the second episode on Friday, and this and the second one will be coming to a podcast provider near you. And thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for joining.
So
thanks
great.
for sending us. And thanks, Rebecca. Thank you so much for having us.
Incredible.
Absolutely wonderful.
On the real. I love it.
Oh my gosh.